Hi everybody, Dave Taylor here for Game Trade Media. We're at Alliance Open House today, and now I'm talking with Adam Rehberg from Adam's Apple Games.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome, you're welcome. Now, last night, I know that Rick and Johnny were sitting down and having a chat with you, but I'm really super curious about what you brought in today.
Yeah, this is something unique, something you can grab your hands on. It's a game called Swordcrafters.
Excellent.
It's a game about crafting a sword, and each player has a three-dimensional sword that they hold as they play.
Slide that out of the way.
Yeah. And at the end of the game, you're comparing your swords. So, of course, right? Like, comparing it three ways. So, based on length, based on quality. Quality is the number of gems in a row on one side. So, on this side, we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4 quality. Yep. And then magic. And magic is a combination of two different gem types. It's a set collection type game.
Okay, ready.
Yeah. But it's super unique because it's three-dimensional. You're holding your sword. You feel really powerful. And it's got one of the best moments in gaming because you're all like, boom, at the end. Here's my sword.
I beat you all. Cool. So, could you give us a quick idea of like how a turn might run through?
Sure. Okay. So first off, it's a 1 to 5 player game in 30 minutes.
Okay.
And it's a I cut you choose mechanic.
Right.
And a lot of set collection in there as well. So what you're doing on your turn is each round. There are 6 rounds in the game. Each round you are going to have a grid of sword tiles set up. So this time we have a 4x4 grid. Each player in turn order is going to make a slice into the grid. So a slice can be either vertical.
Yep.
Or it can be horizontal, but it's got to be straight. Okay, it cannot be like a corner slice like that. That's illegal. Again, you can slice into the center as well. So it's kind of showing you all the options. So I would make a slice.
Yep.
Let's say player 2 would make a slice here. Player 3, let's say, makes a slice here, and player 4 is like, yeah, you're not getting this giant group, so I'm gonna make a slice here. So we're all trying to cut and decide what kind of gems are grouped in. Together, because we want certain types of gems in our sword. Okay. Then in turn order, each player selects a group. So the first player, let's say I was the first player, I would select a group. So maybe here's my sword right now. So I'm looking for blue, yellow, purple, and green. Okay. There's a blue, green, and red here, so that may fit the bill. Okay. So I would take that and I would craft them completely into my sword. So here's what that kind of looks like. Boom. See how I lined the blue and the blue up? Yep. And then I'm also able to line the green and the green up. All right, and that is establishing that sword quality. Okay. So each player selects a group. So maybe player 2 goes here, maybe player 3 goes here, maybe player 4 goes here. Right. The person that takes the group of tiles that has the forge in it will be the first player to cut, first player to select next round. Oh, right. Okay. So it's going to be having this revolving first player. At the end of 6 rounds, at the end of the round, you set up a new grid. At the end of 6 rounds, you compare swords. Okay, great. So it's really simple to learn. This one's just been a hit because it's got the I cut you choose strategy that gamers like. Like you can really analyze decisions, but it's also super approachable for kids. So we actually have this rated age range at 6+ with all of our testing and blind testing. Yeah,
I think it definitely looks like a game my daughters would enjoy.
And feel the sword.
Oh. The mighty sword.
It's pretty substantial. Like there was a ton of development that went into the componentry of this game. So to get this thing to work and to retain its structure as you build it up, like it's a really novel component design, but it's also really thick cardboard and got a custom coating on it to make it have some friction and also perform over time.
Because I didn't hear shaking.
You don't hear shaking, no.
No, it's
and this thing is probably right now, this is kind of a typical end game sword size, I'd say. Right, and this is probably, 18 inches, yeah. So it's a pretty significant 3-dimensional thing that you're building.
Yeah, that's great. Definitely cool. So when you started, what was the genesis for the idea of the game, I guess?
Super interesting genesis. So had been, thanks. Had this idea of a kind of just a engine building game in a dungeon, and one of the portions of the game was about upgrading your sword as you fought through the dungeon. Sounds like a super cool game. It was fun, but like we were sitting at Gen Con 2017. So this was not that long ago, and we said, wait a second, what if? And of course, we're burned out, we're tired. It was a great convention. We did really well. We said, wait a second, what for that dungeon crawling sword game? What if you just built the sword? And what if it was actually a 3-dimensional thing? And all of a sudden, the light bulb clicked, and like on the drive back from Gen Con, we're designing. I had a prototype cut out the next day.
Right.
You should have seen that thing. It was just so gnarly with cardboard and like
Can
slits
imagine.
in it. Yeah, and just like the whole prototyping and development process of bringing this thing to its final form has been really, really intense and in a short period of time. But super proud of the production quality.
But
here.
Incredibly rewarding, I'm sure.
And this box is packed too. So you're going to pick this box up, and it's like 3+ pounds.
Right.
So
it's
just so much
we
cardboard
see
in
the
there.
stacks of cardboard tiles on the table here. Well, when in that example we started with that 4x4 grid.
Yeah.
Do you have? Is it sort of a prescribed size each round, or is
yeah?
it
Great question. So for 2 to 3 players, you're going to have a 3x4 grid.
Okay.
For 4 to 5 players, you're going to have that 4x4 grid.
Right. Okay.
And then for the solo mode, you're also going to have that 4x4 grid as well.
Yep. And laying out the grid, is that also a prescribed method, or is it randomly?
It's a prescribed method, but you'll notice that these tiles are actually two-sided, so there's not a hidden side, so it makes setup and takedown really quick.
Sure.
It does allow you to see what's coming out, but that's why we give you this prescribed method of always setting the grid up left to right and top to bottom, so you can't really manipulate how the gems come out, because you can imagine if you're that first player or you're setting the grid up, you're like, here's what I'm looking for this round. You're going to try to get a little sneaky on me, but we killed that pretty quick, and just a lot of randomness, but then a lot of awesome player decisions.
Yeah. That sounds fantastic. That's really cool. But the quality of all the components is amazing. Actually.
Well, thank you.
Very
Cool. We tapped into a new artist for this project too.
Okay.
So the artist is from Brazil, and his name is Rodrigo Camilo, and it was super interesting. So as the project was evolving, as we were bringing this to life, getting art back from him, and he's like, it's just amazing, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he kind of stopped talking to me for a little bit, and I'm like, what happened? And it turned out that he was working on a big batch of Hearthstone cards, so the digital CCG. So I'm like, okay, well, if we're working with that one, someone of that talent, like they probably take precedent, But he was able to deliver, and we're really proud of just the final product quality and then art, and
I think it all looks fantastic. It's bright. It's got that pop to it.
Absolutely. Let me tell you a little bit more about scoring, because I think this is an interesting part of the game. So at the end of the game, the longest sword you're going to compare, that's going to get 6 points. All right, so just flat 6 points. Yep. The second thing that matters is sword quality, and you're going to count quality for each side. So this is why this game is so puzzly and interesting, because you're trying to manage that quality score on every side throughout the entire game. So you're starting out, let's say, with
this one,
blue on your hilt, and you're like, okay, well, I probably want to try to go after some blue gems.
Right.
The way quality works at the end of the game, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have 7 in a row here.
Yep.
And that is times 2. So that would be 14 points for this side of quality. But you count that for every single side. Now, you'll notice that this side has 2 quality of yellow here and 4 quality of orange. You only count the
highest.
The highest,
right, okay.
And so it just keeps you into the game over the course of it, which is cool.
And here where we've
3 and 3, you would still just count just the 3. Yep.
Right.
Now, the third facet of scoring is where kind of the set collection dynamic comes in.
Yep.
And this is sword magic. And so the person, for example, with the most blue and purple gems combined on this card would receive 8 points, the second most 4, and the third most 2.
All right, okay.
And so we have a bunch of different sword magic cards, and they all have little cheeky magic names on them as well. And they will kind of set up a different scoring dynamic that you need to think about during the game. So we have kind of a beginner scoring level. Everything's basically the most of this, most of that. So you're just, it's all positive reinforcement.
Yep.
If you flip it over to the back, we actually have some really interesting diversity of scoring, or different types of scoring. So this one says the largest difference. If you have green and yellow in your sword, you're going to get points if you have a lot of yellow or a lot of green, but not a lot of both.
Right,
so the largest difference of those 2 colors is going to then generate that scoring winner for sword magic here. And we have a bunch of other ones in there, like pairs. We have least, most trios. We have these blank tiles too, so you don't see any blank tiles out here, but they're actually filler tiles that make it more challenging for you to build your sword. Let's see if we can find one like this.
Okay, right.
And it's not going to help you with sword magic, but it will help you with sword length.
Right. Yep.
So sometimes you'll find a big old group of these blank tiles, and you're like, okay, I'm at this interesting decision point. Do I want to go all in on sword length at this point and try to get that final 6 points? or do I want to give someone else that opportunity and really continue to go after the magic, the quality?
Right. And I guess if you're in a situation where, let's say you're building here, and you've got a straight run of 6 or 7.
Yep.
When you build around, you leave that spot so that next round you could.
Hope to leave the spot. Yeah. And so one thing I will say too, and this is you'll learn this as you play the game, but it's not completely obvious. Is if let's say I drafted a blue gem. Let me find a blue gem. Here we go.
Yep.
And I wanted to put it in my sword, right? I can't do this though because I have a hole in my sword.
Yep.
So I actually need to acquire one more gem before then I can then slot this blue one in.
Right. Yep.
And you wouldn't send someone out into battle with like a kink in their sword, right? It's going to be a bad result. So.
Definitely. And when I was shaking it before, those gems would fall out. No, for sure. That's great. There's a lot of thought, a lot of strategy needs to go into that.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool because it's a lot of strategy packed into a very light and approachable game, and 5 or less minutes to learn, which is great. Just gets you on the table, and you all have swords even if you lose.
Right. Yeah, this is true at the end. That's great.
One other thing I wanted to mention too is so throughout this one was on Kickstarter.
Okay.
And so we were pushed by our audience to look at creating a solo mode for this game. So
right, okay.
We were able to deliver. I actually brought in another designer to help on this one.
Yep.
And it's really neat. So you deal out as many cards as you want between 1 and 4, and these are going to be your opponents in the game.
Right.
So right here we have an opponent. His length is 17 tiles on his sword. And here are the associated gems in his sword, and here is the quality that he achieved.
Okay.
So you're playing the game, and you're trying to kind of min-max based on your own score, but then also trying to beat edge your opponents out on some of those sword magic and quality things.
Right. Okay.
And so the way that it works is you deal out your opponents. The more opponents is a harder game.
Yep.
And then each round you're going to be flipping out one of these, the back side of the card.
Okay.
And this has the cuts that you need to make in the game. So you must make a horizontal cut first. Then you must make a vertical cut, and a vertical cut. So what that would look like is, let's say, for instance, blue and purple are good in this game because there's blue here and there is purple there. So I might want to try to get purple and blues in my sword.
Right.
So maybe my first horizontal cut would be here.
Yep.
That just goes away. Okay. I can't cut that again in the future. Then my next vertical one is here. My next vertical one is here. My next vertical one is here. And this is what I'd be left off with. And that goes into my solo player sword.
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic having that additional angle.
It's a nice benefit. I mean, you get to learn the game before you teach other people. I think that's kind of fun. Yep. And then, there's a fair amount of solo gamers out there as well.
Oh, fantastic. That's absolutely awesome. So the box set itself is available now?
It's available, I think, end of September or first week of October.
Okay.
Yep. So it's on the boat, and it'll be here very soon. And we shipped a small quantity to Gen Con to pre-release it, and it was a great success. People, I mean, this game sells itself.
Right. Yeah.
You literally hand someone a sword, and that is the best sales pitch that you can have.
Yep, definitely.
Because they're like, wait, what? This is a game? This is a sword? Okay, I'm in.
Let me build mine.
It's really fun and easy to get people to the table with this game. We sold out on Saturday, which is great.
Right. Yep.
And we're really excited about that. And we got more on the boat, so we can't wait to get it here and start getting it into more friendly local game stores.
Fantastic. That'll be absolutely great. So what's the price point?
Price point is $35.
$35. So that's a great deal.
It's solid. Yeah.
Yeah, for
I mean, there's a ton of stuff here.
There's a lot of loads of replayability that I can see in this.
Totally.
Absolutely. And so a regular game is about half an hour?
It's 30 minutes,
30 minutes, yep.
So it's a good gateway weighted game because, it's, again, very quick to learn and approachable. And, I've actually been really successful too at getting my friends into board gaming with games like these, and Swordcrafters especially, because people just look at it, and they just come over to the table. It's one of those games. It's got that table presence, and people are just going to be watching you as you're playing. Yeah,
definitely. No, that's fantastic. Well, thanks very much for coming in, Adam.
Of course.
So people can go to adamsapplegames.com.
Yes.
Is that right? And at adamsapplegames on the social medias.
Yep.
And if you want to pick up a copy of Swordcrafters, head to your local retailer. Let them know that they can pick it up from Alliance. Just get in there and start building your swords.
We need more swords in this world.
I'm just going to start. I'll leave it to your own devices there. But no,
Absolutely.
cool. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you, everybody. We'll see you in the next video.
Thanks for watching Game Trade Media. Make sure to leave us a like and click that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any new content.